going. We don't need roads.
Ms. Sackhoff, I'm such a massive fan. Seriously, thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Nice to see you.
In the spirit of unique plane experiences, one of my favorite interviews, it wasn't mine, but Anthony Hopkins told a great story about boarding a plane right after Silence of the Lambs, and a woman who was just absolutely terrified when she saw him and didn't really want to sit next to him. I'm sort of curious, how have your plane experiences been affected by the different roles you've played? Like, can you tell when you sit down on a plane and the person sitting next to you absolutely knows who you are?
I can, absolutely. I can tell pretty quickly within like a split second who, if they know who I am. And usually I can tell what they know me from based on their reaction. I always love when it's the pilot. That's always the best part.
When
like
he comes back?
comes out to go to the bathroom, and the flight attendant will ask me sometimes to go forward and like talk to the pilot. And that's usually about Battlestar Galactica. So, but that happens quite a bit.
What are some of the tells that someone does whenever they're like clearly a Star Wars fan or clearly a fan of Battlestar?
Well, so we have all had that moment where you recognize someone, you think you recognize someone, and then you go, did we go to high school together? Like that thing in your head, you all know what that means. That's what it looks like. And 9 times out of 10, I didn't go to high school with that person. So it's that. And I can usually tell if it's Battlestar because they're usually in a weird way, a little bit more contained than if it's Star Wars. So it's, yeah. And then I can tell if it's Longmire too, usually based on, I don't know. Those are usually the people that are convinced we went to high school together.
I think my greatest fear would just be that I was bothering you. I just wouldn't want to I think I'd probably be overly quiet, I think. In this film, your character has to make some difficult decisions, some difficult calls that maybe aren't the best, that not everyone agrees with. Over your career, I know because you're an actor, you've had to take direction from a lot of people. I'd love to know, what is the worst piece of direction you've ever received?
Oh my gosh. To smile. Just smile. Make sure you always, like, we're making a holiday film. And that was the worst piece of advice I ever got, because it made me so self-conscious of actually being the character and playing levels and being sad. Like, you can be sad in a happy movie. You can, that was really bad advice, but I listened to it, which is also, not great.
Can't ever think of a performance where it's like, you know what, I'd believe that a lot more if that person were a lot more smiling. If that person were smiling.
If Catherine was smiling throughout this entire movie, you'd be like, is she on drugs?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a whole other layer. Really quick, they're pulling me out of here. I am a fan of yours. And if you can't tell, I would be the nerdy, giddy person on the plane. So forgive me for this, but I would love to know if you remember, speaking of direction, the very first time you put this on and heard action. Do you remember your very first moment acting while wearing Bo-Katan's mask?
I do. And I have to say that was a very relieving moment for me, because before that, all of my scenes were with my helmet off. And that was where I was most uncomfortable as her, because I'd never played her. I never thought about how she moved. The moment I put the helmet on, it's just a voiceover job again. And I can move my face however I want to move my face. I can be Katee inside the helmet, which is so relieving. Playing Bo-Katan is difficult because she's so controlled and she is so just stoic, and that is not usually my facial expression.
But I just assumed that you were just smiling the entire time while you were wearing her helmet, and just a giant smile the whole time.
Yes, I am, which is not Bo-Katan.
They're pulling me out here, Ms. Sackhoff.
Great.
I am such a massive fan. I know you have a super busy day, so this really means a lot to me. Seriously, thank you so much.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Good to see you. Bye, guys. Bye, Julian.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.